the latest interview that the foreign minister of Iran had just moments ago, he said that we haven't asked for a ceasefire and we reject any negotiations with the United States. We are disgust at at any sort of negotiations with the United States. We don't want that, and we are prepared for a long war. And he's talking. He was asked about the ground invasion of Iran. He said we welcome that if they're ready to come in, and we're ready to that. And at the end, it seems that he was asked, the NBC journalist asking him if America is the great Satan, as the supreme leader of Iran used to say. He said yes. And what is your understanding of the current situation between the United States and Iran? We know that these operations are huge in the Middle East, and they're attacking Iran. Iran is attacking US bases. And what is your understanding of that?
Well, I mean, we have to immediately keep in mind what I am preaching for second decade now. US legacy media are lying sacks of excrement, okay? They lie non-stop. You cannot trust anything they say. They are directly involved with this primitive, well, it's basically designed for morons, PSYOP operation, essentially just, spreading BS. And so we need to immediately say that Kurz already debunked the news by Fox News, no, bunch of bimbos there who, that they somehow invaded Iran. It's not there, and obviously they are censoring pretty much the impact, although it still leaks through the alternative media and people on the ground, a catastrophe which is for the United States there in the area. United States have been swept out of the Persian Gulf, simple as that. United States will never again get there in the form and shape it used to be. And when we look attentively at the actually damage which is done, I'm not talking about the sadly, casualties on both sides. It's a whole, that will be whole other story and kabuki theater, especially on the United States part, which is extremely sensitive to losses. So they will be admitting only portion of that. But if you look attentively at the catastrophic damage for U.S. naval base in Bahrain, for all intents and purposes, wiped out. Other bases are being attacked nonstop, and we are not talking just demonstration strikes somewhere on the runway. Iran takes out extremely expensive and important critical infrastructure, such as radar. Evidently, Iran wiped out THAADs. It's like, good Lord. And if you look attentively at this, what is happening in Tel Aviv, despite the fact that they pretty much try to stop any kind of the videos from there, it's catastrophic there. And it's not just strikes for the sake of strikes. The most important thing, which many people do not understand, how precise those strikes is. Larry Wilkerson, I believe, he told either you or somebody else a couple days ago that essentially they took out the Mossad, one of the Mossad centers in Tel Aviv. They just knew that it is there. So, and yes, Iran is ready. And Mr. Trump, well, what can I say? He might end up being impeached for all I care, because evidently Democrats are really giddy. I mean, they're really excited, that they can stomp on him, because obviously all those plans by Pentagon planners, and especially by those morons from the AIPAC and those Israeli handlers of Trump, they usually fail because they're incompetent people, and we can see now this incompetence actually demonstrated across the board. Yet another F-15 was shot down over Tehran, and so yeah, that will continue. Iran has enough strike means to actually deal the horrendous damage, and that's exactly what they're dealing. And the other thing, all those cartoonish, monarchies of the Gulf, they're not going to be the same again. I would lie if I wouldn't say that I have a schadenfreude seeing like this plastic shopping mall called Dubai is being disassembled, and it's never going to be all this basically pretense civilized place again. It's just, that's it. It's over for them.
Andrei, the United States started attacking by assassinating the supreme leader of Iran and the commanders. And from the military point of view, did they think that they can collapse the whole, government in Iran by assassinating these people? Because they tried it before.
Mhm.
And how did you find it?
Well, it's stupid. They're not bright people. They don't know. America doesn't have strategic intelligence in principle as a statecraft. It doesn't. It doesn't have strategists of any international repute. It's all for the show. There are a bunch of guys going out there and quoting one-liners from Sun Tzu or from Clausewitz. That's about it. This is as far as they go. They do not understand the world outside. They do not understand societies. And well, they understand Arabs. They know how to corrupt them. But then again, these are Arabs. We know how weak and how essentially, well, especially when you look attentively at the Gulfi monarchies, how, preposterous they are. No, Iran is, somebody had to tell them that Iran is civilization. But they, as always, they rely upon all kinds of the dissidents and opposition people who tell them what they wanted to hear. And as the result, they bought this fairy tale about Iran. And obviously, they do not understand what is the chain of succession, and that Iran is, for all failures of Iran, there are many problems, obviously, nobody says it, some kind of totally cohesive society. But once they murdered essentially Ali Khamenei, no matter how unpopular he was in some layers of the Iranian society, as correctly have been stated, they solidified Iran. And now, after 171 girls from that school, there is, these people are stupid, okay? They operate only on the basis of the lobbyists and the donor class who controls Trump and his administration. They are not there to serve the United States. Trump is a primitive man. He never read a book in his life. He doesn't understand what he's dealing with. And so the result is that the United States now is in for a long run while having no resources. And they begin to lie. They begin to project their panic in the White House and, in Pentagon too, that, yeah, Iran wants to, remember, I want to interrupt myself. Remember that Trump, a few days back, he stated that thousands of the Iranian soldiers called him. He's receiving the calls. Can you imagine that? Hello, it's White House. Hey, I'm Iranian guy from some eastern province. Can I talk to Mr. President? And say, sure, yeah, let me connect you with it. And Trump say, hello, dude. And he said, Mr. Trump, I want to stop this. I want to surrender. So yeah, that's the level of the statesmanship. It's preposterous. It's ridiculous. And it begins to hurt already badly hurt United States elsewhere. And today, Mr. Lavrov comes out with it's loaded statement for people who do not understand what is going on, and they just rely upon only the headlines from media. He says that the spirit of anchorage is evaporating. That means what? It's a warning, right? And yeah, everybody knows that what is happening, nobody takes the United States seriously. And Iran, and as already have been stated, first, Kurds themselves debunked this idea of the, attack on Iran, ground invasion, whatever. And suddenly, how many missiles are left there? Judging by what I see now, in the seventh day of this whole mess, is that Iranian drones and missiles are just flying on at will. There's nothing which can intercept that. And that tells you everything you need to know about the readiness of the United States militarily and technologically to face not the best military power whatsoever, but the power which has a resolve, and it actually has the means to strike back. And that creates this whole situation.
Andrei, looking at the targets of the United States so far, just just in the first day they attack, as you mentioned, these schools, but they're continuing attacking schools, hospitals. Azadi Square in Iran is one of the most famous squares in Iran, in Tehran, and they attack stadium today. And you somehow would be amazed what is going on with the targets. Are they running out of targets? They attacked a park called Police Park. And Police Park doesn't have anything to do with police. It's the name of just is the name after police of Iran police in it. And do you think that they're using AI? They're running out of targets. That's why they're trying to inflict suffering on Iranian people as much as possible, because they
all
feel
the
that
United States is capable of. It cannot fight real war. It can bomb, and that's the result. I mean, there is no doubt about it. And they are obviously, United States is controlled by Israel. United States military is not serving United States. I mean, all this baloney about that they fight somewhere, for them not to fight here, and all this garbage. I mean, this is only people with a half brain, and even those would believe this, basically is troll. The reality is it's desperation, lashing out. They don't mind. United States, no serviceman in the United States knows what real war is. They never defended their families, their property. The only thing they know is how to, they get there. Remember, there's one of the favorite, moments in otherwise genius Hot Shots movie, the spoof on Top Gun, when Admiral comes in and says that, here are our targets: the mime school, and the secondary target, if it's an accordion factory, that's who they are. And they always were like that. And the fact is, they are hurting right now. You can sense it, because the reputation-wise, the United States military doesn't have any more reputation. It's basically the expeditionary force which conducts atrocities. That's what it is. And so anybody who thinks that it is some kind of real war, no, it's not real war. The only thing the United States military can do is to hurl whatever they have, the standoff weapons, and rotate their military air campaign. But evidently we know that, there are all those fairy tales, 3 F-15s by friendly fire. Now there's another F-15. Now they try to deny it, although already everybody knows that. And the combat search and rescue aircraft already saved the pilots. So you look at this, it's just like, dudes, what the hell are you thinking you're doing? And it's an Israeli war, and the United States is, as I already stated a number of times, a slap beach of Israel. And so Trump does the bidding of Israel. And obviously his calculations, his political calculations, which are tied very closely to midterms, and whatever Israel proved him, basically promised him something, and of course promised him that probably another batch of the Epstein files will come out. But when the world calls your armed forces the pedophile Epstein forces, this is how low it all came down to. This is what it is. It's not some Iranian trope. Everybody, from what I know around the world, from India to East Asia to Russia, they just saying it's a Epstein armed forces. That's what it is. Albeit, of course, Epstein files are just merely one of the factors which coalesce into this madness, and there is no way out of it now for the United States, obviously.
Andrei, the argument of the friendly attack on F-15s, is there any sort of communication between American air defense system and their fighter jets that they can recognize, and that this is the American fighter jet? Because after all, from what we've seen, Iranian attack on Kuwait, for example, they're arguing that the air defense system of Kuwait hit these fighter jets, but they couldn't even shoot down, Iranian drones. How is that?
I wrote a book on how primitive US air defense is. Many people have to understand, if to take this, this about this Kuwaiti pilot who shot down, it's baloney. I mean, who would ever believe this crap? Likely, if it was the Patriot, and not only Kuwaitis, Iranians do normal, their own CR, suppression of enemy air defense. And what happens is, of course, they saturate their environment, the space, with drones, which are obviously have a much smaller cross section, and they obviously being detected on a different level, in the sense that it, even if you look at the how to put it, they are smaller. Okay, let's put it this way. And the issue of the Patriot always was both PAC-2 and PAC-3. The missiles of this MEM 104 missiles for Patriot, they are shoot and forget, essentially. Your radar gives its initial vector, basically. Missile shoots out of the container, and it operates for a short period of time until actually it gets into the terminal and turns on its own what is called active homing device. It's small radar, essentially, with certain range, which is in miles. And they're evidently, and that's where what I know for sure, selectivity obviously there is not that good, because, for example, I know while Russians in 70s at S-200 complex, which is ancient one, they were still lagging behind the radar itself. Later, Russians actually beat United States, and they have the best radar technology. But already then, for example, semi-active and active warheads, which were used on S-200 missiles, they had a very good homing device and excellent selectivity. That means that if you see the two targets, but you have the flight and capture, essentially, of the smaller cross-section target, you still continue and shoot it down. Evidently, the missiles by Patriot, they have issues. And most likely, if to believe this story, what have happened, it really selected the target, which was brighter, which was, which of course F-15 is much larger cross section. It's absolutely not stealthy, and it's an aluminum aircraft. It's a good aircraft, but obsolete for the modern warfare. And so they probably locked on it, and that was it. So that it brings us to this point that who would believe this Kuwaiti guy shooting down 3 aircraft? I think it's the cover story to basically cover up the embarrassment, which already clear. United States air defense has been embarrassed already in Ukraine. It's, as I constantly repeat, the quote by Lieutenant General Semyonov, the first deputy commander of Russian airspace forces, and I quote, Patriot PAC-3 cannot defend itself, forget about defending anything else. And so we can see it. And now we can see also the fact that already 2 radar, which is the most expensive part of THAAD, have been destroyed by Iranians. Some people say one of the was destroyed by drones, another was by the missile. Well, that tells you everything what you need to know about it. It's just highly ineffective. And when you look even today, Bahrain is just burning. Okay, the U.S. naval base of the Fifth Fleet is there. It just basically no more. You look attentively at those early warning radar; it's gone. All those satellite communications facilities are gone. This is catastrophe. This is the whole infrastructure on those bases in the Middle East by the United States, which is being disassembled as we speak. And Iranians continue to do this. That is why they throw in all this baloney that, somehow the intensity reduced. No, evidently today, the 19th wave, again, it hits not just for the sake as it was during the 12th-day war to show something. It hits specific targets, which are critical, including basically what's the name of it? The oil refineries. They're burning. It's catastrophe.
Andre, no video is getting out of Israel to understand, to see what is happening there. But one of the
Some.
videos that came out, it seems that because they could finally intercept the missile, it was something like 42, 44 interceptors. They used 44 interceptors to, if that's the, that's the
Yeah.
math of what's going on, it's unbelievably, devastating for, if the war, turns into a war of attrition for the United States.
It's
Because
already
how,
turning. Yeah, it's already turning, and it's not a secret. It's not a secret that there is a very limited supply of otherwise still ineffective missiles and highly ineffective Patriot and THAAD. How many, I don't remember how many THAAD systems the United States has. Two of them are gone now, and together with whatever they were shooting at. And again, I wrote 4 books on that. Nobody believed it. And again, on special military operation, Pentagon was drinking the Kool-Aid provided by all those so-called Ukrainian specialists. They were high on their own supply, not understanding that what they were getting, and this data is all with garbage, basically, So now it's being exposed yet again. And this is by Iran, whose missile systems are not as effective and not as advanced as Russia's, but still look at what they're doing. They break through constantly. They basically humiliate this, Israeli air defense, and obviously the Raytheon. I don't know. As many people joking right now, including very many Americans, typical American sense of humor, which I love. That Raytheon missiles work exactly as designed, to enrich people with the shares of Raytheon. That's the only thing. It's pathetic, actually. This is embarrassment. It's humiliation. They were trying to cover humiliation in special military operation of complete ineptness of the American generals and their planning or operation planning things, which only kills hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians. And now they see that. And now they are involved in the war of attrition. This is exactly what Iran wanted. This is exactly, but you cannot explain to this teenager with the narcissistic personality in the White House and who is controlled by who knows what. We don't know what else is in those Epstein files. He obviously was mentioned 5,000 something like times in those Epstein files, despite the fact that he said, "Oh yeah, I just knew him briefly." Yeah, the guy is just basically, they were closest buddies. So here it is, and the humiliation continues, and Israel is always miscalculated because now we have the Hezbollah in Lebanon burning the Merkava tanks. And guess what? The only good thing which they are good at is propaganda, psyops, lying, censoring. That's about it. Fighting real war, not really.
I think many people are thinking in these Arab states, what is the use, what is the benefit of these American bases in their countries? Because so far they got hit, everything was destroyed. By the only thing that the United States is doing is have been using those bases to attack Iran and defend Israel. Nothing for the Arab states.
Of course not. Of course, Arabs are they are cow for milking, selling this, American technology which doesn't work, and giving them the false sense of security. We saw everything we needed to see. It's, even when the United States tries to defend, it's absolutely impotent. But yeah, it was about Israel. Now you have the people from UAE and from Qatar saying, "Oh, they lied to us. They're here to defend Israel." Of course they are. United States is controlled by Israel. United States doesn't have U.S. Congress. It's Knesset 2.0. Mr. Trump is Israeli asset, essentially. Their loyalties are to Israel. And so when you look at this, it's just, okay. And that's his story. It's unraveling as we speak. And again, what we are, if considered earlier to 28, 6 days already in it. And it's just going to escalate. And guess what? The main question now, if this dude who is called himself the greatest thing which ever happened in the universe, will decide after, well, essentially, the United States has its ass handed to it by Iran, to go basically escalate the nuclear threshold. Because Israel itself now in the danger, and again, I believe it was one of the IIRG commanders who stated the next target will be Dimona if it continues, So, and we know Israel can, Iran can hit Dimona, it can get there if it needs to be. Plus, there are all other ways of doing this, and so the situation is catastrophic. Realistically, it's catastrophic, and that is why they begin to throw in all those things that, oh yeah, there are negotiations. Yeah, thousands of Iranian soldiers call Mr. Trump daily to say that they want to surrender. We're looking at it's, if it wouldn't have been that sad, it's some kind of farce. It's some kind of farce, We really need to go back and recall what Karl Marx, for all his failures, stated about the history. The history repeats itself first as a tragedy and then as a farce. And we are in the farce phase. And anybody who thought that you can just bomb the country, you need the troops. You need the ground troops to control it. If United States has zero resources to occupy Iran, or let alone fight it in order to occupy it, it just simply it makes Vietnam look like the stroll in the park, especially considering that how it's a gigantic country with 93 million population. Some people have to really kind of take it in. It's not even Venezuela. And if you look at the terrain, and obviously, well, there is now consolidation of the Iranian society, that's gonna be really bad.